Hello, nerds. This is Jesse from Rock Sugar, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network. Keep it right here.
The following takes place between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m.
Hello, and welcome to the Geekcast Radio Network. Interview of the guys in charge of TVShowsOnDVD.com, Gord, Lacey, and David Lambert. Hey guys, how are you both?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Yes, so the reason why we're doing this interview is that the website, TVShowsOnDVD.com, is having its 10-year anniversary of being online as of November 1st. Wow, that's an amazing accomplishment right there.
Thanks.
So getting started, Gord, what made you start the website, and what were your initial ambitions for it?
Initially, I started because I was bored. I was kind of taking a look at some of the forums, like the Home Theater Forum, and I saw there was a lot of people discussing TV shows they wanted to release on DVD, stuff they wanted to see come out, and there was no place for them to really vent or show that interest. So I thought, someone should create this website, and then a couple days later, I realized I didn't have much going on. So I started working on the website. I was a web developer at a college, so I had the skills to, come up with the idea and then actually implement it.
Awesome. Very awesome. So how did you and Dave end up working together on the site? How did you guys end up, the friendship that you have and all that? How did that start?
I was from the Home Theater Forum. Dave was always posting about different TV shows, and I contacted him and said, hey, I'm working on this website. Would you like to beta test it for me?
And
Dave, do you remember your response?
And I said no. Basically, at the time, I was a system analyst that was working much more than 40 hours a week, much more than 60 hours a week, and I was trying to spend time doing that and spend a little time with my family, and I just really didn't want to get committed to other stuff. I just, wanted to keep, having fun in my off time, surfing the internet and watching DVDs. Gord, do you remember which particular TV show I had commented on that really caught your attention?
No, you were commenting on a lot.
Scooby-Doo was the one that you.
Oh, yeah.
There was a post where I talked about all the different versions of Scooby-Doo shows, and explained how one led to another and everything, and I think that was the one that grabbed your attention. And you kept asking me, could you beta test the site? No. Hey, Dave, come on, really, let's beta test the site. I think you'll like it. And finally, you wore me down, and I said yes. And I think the one thing that got my attention was that you seriously took every piece of feedback that I gave you, and you gave it actual serious attention, which, as a system analyst, I frankly wasn't used to. Many people take your feedback about testing and they blow it off, and you actually took it completely serious from top to bottom. So that kind of got my attention that, hey, this guy's not your average fella.
Yeah. See, Mike, I started actually working on the website in the end of January 2001. So I had many, many, many months of just work on it before anyone really saw it, besides Dave and a couple other people. Actually, I almost abandoned the idea at one point because it was just so much work, and
I'm very glad you didn't.
Yeah, well, me too. And it was just all this work, and no one actually saw it, so I didn't really have much feedback. It was like I was just pouring all my time into something that really didn't matter. And it was actually someone I worked with at the college. I told him about this other idea I had, and he said, maybe you should stick with the DVD website. That kind of sounds like a better idea.
Yeah, you guys mentioned Scooby-Doo. My two favorites out of all the incarnations, my two favorites of the old stuff is the Scooby-Doo movies and the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
But
I think it was after Dave did some beta testing, and it was funny because I was posting news on things that no one was actually reading because, of course, no one actually knew about the website. And Dave would constantly send me these pieces of information. He'd say, "Oh, did you hear about this?" Or "Did you know about this thing?" Or "I saw this release somewhere." And finally, I just said, "Look, you know about a lot of this stuff. I can code something that gives you access, and you can just start posting news yourself. I kind of trust you.
A-
yeah,
You seem like a good person."
Actually, Gord, I'm going to correct you on that.
Okay.
At first you said, Dave, you seem to know a lot about this stuff. Would you like to be a reviewer? And so you got me hooked up to doing reviews on a few of the older classic shows because let's face it, I love the classic shows and you like more the new, more modern stuff. So I think
I've grown to enjoy classics, but
that's
yeah,
definitely the case. But when we first hooked up 10 years ago, you were definitely not as much into it. So I think the one in particular that got you was All in the Family. There was an opportunity to review the first season of All in the Family, and you just didn't know the show, but you knew that I did.
yeah.
So we did that, and we went forward from there. But I soon discovered that I'm such a nitpicky, detail-oriented, ask me the time and I'll explain how the clock works kind of fellow. Uh, you know, uh, and so basically I found out that reviewing's not really my cup of tea because I just take way too long doing it and it takes too much time away from everything else. So I stopped doing that. And then you had something to go out of town for. I think it was a family thing. It might have been your brother's wedding. I don't remember, but you had to go out of town. And so you asked me to look after the site and post some news every once in a while if I saw anything of the type of thing I'd usually recommend to you. And that's when you coded something to let me post the news for you. And you were gone several days, maybe it was a week. And then when you got back, I was like, "So when are you going to take the news back over?" And I remember your response quite clearly. It was like, "No, I really enjoy, coming to the site and seeing something new that I didn't know anything about. So why don't you keep on doing that?"
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. When I coded the thing, I had administrative rights to everything. So my user thing was admin, and Dave was going to be an assistant admin. So there was certain things he didn't have access to. But when I coded it, I didn't really put much thought into assistant admin. So I actually coded it as ass admin.
oh,
Thanks. That was a memory I had forgotten and was hoping to never remember. But yes, I was the acid man.
Dave didn't last as an ass admin for very long.
wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome. Now I forget when it was. Now Dave and I had talked previously so we could test his setup, and we were going over when I actually logged in and joined the site, which was 2006. Of course, sadly I haven't logged in since 2007, but I do go to the site daily. When did the TV Guide stuff happen? When you guys got partnered up with them, how did that come about?
That actually started. They approached me to do a book. It was through a company called Brands to Books, and they were looking. They had all the TV show information, and they were looking for a source of DVD information, and came across TV shows on DVD, and they just contacted me and wanted to do something, and it kind of came through that. We started talking some more, and they said, would you consider a partnership, or would you consider selling your site to me? And I thought about it for a little bit. Well, actually, it was for quite a while, and I thought, this is great. It's a big company. There's going to be a lot more opportunities, and so I decided to go ahead with it. So that closed. I think it was February 2007.
It was.
Yeah.
February 14th, actually. Was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Valentine's Day.
That's awesome. So how did that change what you guys do with the site then? I mean, if TV Guide now owns the website, how did that change what you all do with the site?
It didn't change it all that much, which was kind of one of the reasons why I sold it to them, because I didn't want them to come in and dictate, okay, this has to change and that has to change. They've definitely provided some guidance, and Dave and I have both gotten involved in certain TV Guide projects over the years. So, yeah, it was nice. They've been pretty hands-off, which is quite good.
I mean, the only thing I ever really see on the site is basically their, a banner for them. I mean, that's pretty much the only influence I see from them, unless you guys post a story, hey, TV Guide has this scoop, or, this has that scoop. But I mean, still being
really, Mike, I'll say this. If I'm posting news and part of the news has to do with, the next season set of such and such has been released, and it's been announced that this will be the last season or the next to last season, something that has to do with the broadcast of that TV show.
Right.
Obviously, I'm going to want to, if I'm going to put a link in there, I'm going to want to put that link into TV Guide.
Right.
Because, they're our sister company. They're we're them and they're us. So obviously, I'd rather give them that link than anybody else,
right?
If possible. Other than that, really, my experience is that TV Guide comes to us asking me questions about DVDs. One thing, for instance, they recently did was just a few days ago, they asked us what TV DVD big special packages would we recommend they include in the TV Guide holiday gift-giving guide. So, usually it's more like we're helping them than them telling us what to do.
Yeah, there was one time I was involved in some kind of holiday DVD TV special.
I remember that. Yeah, I love that. That was awesome. You need to do that more often.
It's funny because I didn't even see it. Because
oh, really?
Well, I'm up in Canada and we don't get the TV Guide network, so it was just a really strange thing. They asked me if I could do this, and I just happened to be going to LA a couple days later, so it made everything really, really easy. I was actually staying in a hotel that was pretty much right across the street, so I just ran over to the studio and I was in there for about an hour, recorded some stuff, and that was it.
Awesome. Very awesome.
And that's another thing that's funny, considering that we've known each other. Gord and I have known each other for 10 years. We've obviously talked on the phone a lot, done a billion emails and instant messages, seen each other on, webcam. But we've never met face-to-face because Gord's up in Canada and I'm in Tennessee. So we have never met each other face-to-face.
Yeah. That's the same thing with myself and a lot of a lot of the people that I podcast with. I've never met any of them, but I've seen them online. I've seen them through video chat and everything else. And I think with the internet and with podcasting, when you make friendships on the internet with the people that you want to work with or with people that you have common interests with, it's not often that you're going to end up meeting each other. I mean, sure, you could probably plan something in the future, but not right away. But hey. The internet is the internet, I guess. So, now this might just be my own personal opinion, but the way I have this written out is TV Shows on DVD has become the #1 site to go to for TV DVD news. Did you think it would ever reach the level of fame that it has?
I hoped it would. I had always planned on the site going for a long time. I wasn't in it for it wasn't going to be a project that I just put a little bit of time into and then walked away from.
Right.
Once I actually launched it, I did say I almost gave up on it, but once I launched it, no, it was kind of gangbusters right from the start. And when I launched the site, I set a goal for myself. I wanted to have 1,000 TV shows in the database that people could vote on, and I wanted to have 500 DVD releases, like with all the information and stuff. And the reason why I wanted to do that, I think there are a lot of really excellent websites that launch. The problem is they launch too soon and they have no content. And I wanted people to come to the site on kind of the launch day and go, huh, this is their first day? I wanted them to spend time on the site. I didn't want them to come there and think, well, this is kind of a neat idea, but there's nothing to see or do here. And then they might forget about it. I want people to have something to do right from the start. Right,
yeah. And I mean, your site is probably one of the only sites that I ever visit that says, that constantly says, not really says, but is constantly to the point where in 10 years, the design has never changed because it's such a simplistic design and it's such a recognizable design. Blue background, white background, and everything else. For us at Geekcast Radio Network, we've changed our design like 3 different times already in the 2 years we've been online.
Well, we may be changing our design fairly soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of the projects that I'm working on with TV Guide is a whole site redesign. Now, with that said, I'm trying my best to code it in a way that people will be able to click on a button and go back to the classic design. They're going to miss out on some of the neat things with the new design. But, yeah, there's a new design coming.
Awesome.
And having seen Gord's early work on that, I can tell you that even if you stick with the new version of it, you're going to see that blue and white that you're used to. It might be moved around a little bit, but it's still good. And I think everybody liked it.
Awesome. I did have an earlier design that it's funny because there are some pages on the site in the administrative side that still use the original design, and I don't know why I haven't changed them, because when I look at that first design, it kind of makes me sick. It's just
you know what you guys ought to do, and this is just up to you. You ought to take screen caps or take images of that original design and put them on the Facebook fan page so people can see, hey, look, 10 years ago, this is what the site originally was.
Yeah,
we've come so far from that point.
Yeah, there's the Internet Archive site probably has some of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mike, actually, I was thinking along those lines for once Gord tells me that he's ready to go for launching the redesign. I was thinking along those lines for a site news item to work with Gord to put together that and say, okay, this is what we started out as, this is what you're used to seeing over the time, and now this is what you're going to see from now on.
Yeah, that would be very awesome.
So,
out of all the news stories you guys have reported on, and I know there's so many, so that this might be hard, but is there one news story that just amazed you so much that the show is getting a DVD release? I mean, is there one TV show that you either one of you thought would never ever get a release? Gord, you can go first.
No, because when I started the website, I started it with the opinion that every show, no matter how good or how bad it was in someone's opinion, it deserves a DVD release. Nothing surprised me. There are definitely things that I'm surprised the way they're being released. I remember like a month or two ago, laying in bed, David already posted a bunch of news to the site, and I picked up my iPad and I was scrolling through some stuff, and I thought, what did Dave post? He completely messed this up. It says that Law and Order: The Complete Series is coming out, and that just doesn't make any sense. That's 20 seasons. And sure enough, I clicked on it and started reading the story, and I thought, wow, it's been almost 10 years, and I'm still being surprised by the things that some of the studios do. I mean, that's a massive, massive set.
Well, now Dave did break it down into individual DVDs, individual sets as far as the actual price. But yeah, Dave and I were talking about that the other day. Was that that's $699.99 sticker? That's sticker shock right there. That's that could be a really cheap car for somebody.
It's $450 roughly on Amazon for 20 seasons. That's like $22.50 a season, which is an incredible deal when you're talking about something that's an hour long, 22 episodes per season. It's a great deal. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's still a great deal.
And it's obvious that Universal, did this so that they can say, all right, we've produced all 20 seasons. We've released them kind of randomly, haphazardly over the years. Now we've got all 20 seasons produced, and we can put them out right in time for Christmas for the gift givers to have this really big set. If somebody wants to buy this, great. And I'm sure they don't anticipate a ton of people buying it, especially at that price in this economy. But I'm sure they're hoping to be pleasantly surprised with a lot of people buying it who don't want to wait. But it's obvious that they're going to take all those seasons that were produced for the big complete series set, and they haven't released them individually, and it's obvious that they're going to release them individually, and they'll probably space them out, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, or thereabouts, between each one. But they're going to come. As long as people keep buying them, they'll keep putting them on store shelves. So they're made, they're produced. There's no reason for those discs not to find their way into people's hands, if not as the complete series, then as individual season sets. And it's no different from the way Shout Factory put out Leave It to Beaver and Larry Sanders Show and It's Gary Shandling Show and Transformers and G.I. Joe. They put out the big complete series sets first, and then they broke them down and sold the individual season sets. And Time Life's done the same thing. They did it with Get Smart and Ghostbusters, Real Ghostbusters, excuse me. And now they've done it most recently with $6 Million Man. And if you want to talk about something that I wondered would ever come out, I guess $6 Million Man, I knew it would have to come out eventually, but it took so long, and it was such a pain in the neck waiting for it. And they did it, and they did a great job with it. And I'm glad to say that I helped Time Life find the right expert fans to point them in the right direction to get the right arrangement of episodes and the right bonus material on there. And I'm so glad everybody's loved it so much. So that one was well worth waiting for.
There was one that I never thought, and as Gord said, every DVD, every show should get a release, but there is one that I never thought. And when I saw the news story, I was like, oh yeah, Airwolf Season 4. I was like, oh my god, finally! The Barry Van Dyke series. Holy crap. That's so awesome. And I'll tell you, along these same lines, another one that has gotten 3 releases, one of my favorite shows, Nash Bridges. It's only gotten the first 3 seasons. Where are the other 3?
I hate to say it, but it's likely poor sales.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, that's which sucks.
Or it may not be completely terrible sales. It could be that the studio prioritized other shows because the sales on Nash Bridges were barely okay. They're like, okay, it's okay. Yeah, we're making some money off of this, but could we be making more if we put out this instead? Well, let's try that and see. And then we can always come back to Nash later.
Yeah. I hope they do come back to it because I think it's kind of unfair that, Walker gets all 8 or 9 seasons and we don't even have any martial law DVDs, I don't think.
No. Carlton Coos is someone that I had the pleasure of meeting, and I've gotten to know him a little bit. I've enjoyed all his shows that he's put out, and I met him at a Lost Season 1 DVD party. And it was funny because I had been bugging Warner Brothers for a couple of years to release The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. So I saw him at this party, and I had had a couple drinks, so I was I was kind of ballsy. I thought, I'm just going to walk up to him and start talking to him. So I went up to him and said, Mr. Coos, my name's Gord Lacey, and I've been trying to get Briscoe County Jr. on DVD. And he said, okay, let's talk. So we started emailing back and forth and started hounding Warner Brothers into releasing it. And, finally came out, and it was a wonderful set and did a lot better than Warner Brothers was expecting. So that was
a great set.
Well, that was really good because I kind of put my neck on the line there. When you hound a studio to release a DVD set like that, you better hope it sells well, or they might not listen to any other ideas you have.
I think one of the things that kind of maybe hurt the Nash DVDs is that Season 2 and Season 3 have one special feature. I mean, that's pretty much it. Season 1, I think, has an interview with the writers, and I think it has an interview footage with Don and Cheech, but other than that, the other two seasons barely have any special features. I'm just glad the show is on DVD, personally, because it doesn't show in syndication anymore. I'd love to get seasons 4, 5, and 6, but I guess time will only tell on that. Going back to the price of some of the complete series stuff, last year when 24 was released, it was $349.99. By the time Black Friday hit, it was $199.99. So do we see it all that the Law and Order set might get a Black Friday price?
It's possible. I don't know. I know that it's going to be a limited set.
Yeah,
I wouldn't essentially count on it because, you're talking about two, different studios and two different mindsets, and plus it also depends on the retailers and what they're willing to do too.
Yeah, that's true.
And think about it this way, 24, you mentioned that was just, Fox took the existing seasons that were already released, put them together into the big box set, and didn't have to spend a whole lot more money putting that complete series together. So they could afford to, to take a bit of a hit price-wise on that Black Friday deal. But, these Law and Order sets, that's newly produced, never before seen on DVD material. Most of it has never been on DVD before.
Yeah, weren't the only years that have been released up to this point was like years 1 through 8 or something like that?
1 through 8, and then season 14, because they released season 14 right before season 15 aired. That was one where they kind of jumped around a bit.
It was an experiment to see if starting with the newest material would help sales at all.
Yeah. What are some upcoming titles that are going to be released that you're both looking forward to, Gord?
I'm really looking forward to Shout Factory's release of The Adventures of Tintin, Season 1. That's a show, I love the books. I remember as a kid I would always go to the library and grab one of the Tintin comics to read. And I'm excited that they're releasing the first season. I actually have the Canadian release of the entire series, but Shout Factory just does such a great job. They do. They do amazing work. I'm also excited for the Smallville complete series set. I was in LA last week and had a meeting with Warner Brothers and saw the set, and it's really nice. It's a really, really nice package they put together.
Awesome. Dave, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'd say the ones that are coming up soon that I'm most interested in. I'm a big fan of classic science fiction and genre type material. So it won't surprise anybody to know that the Invisible Man DVD and Blu-ray of the 1975 series with David McCallum, that's really up my alley. I remember watching that when I was young, and it's been a very long time since I've seen it, and I can't wait to see it again. And believe it or not, the other one that I'm most looking forward to is It Takes a Thief, because believe it or not, I haven't seen very many episodes of that. I've basically gone my whole life wanting to see more of it, so I really hope I get a chance to sit down and watch that upcoming set beginning to end and really check it out.
Yeah, that's a set that I'm looking forward to as well.
Yeah, I'm actually, I can't wait to see what Shout does next with classic cartoons and stuff, because, I mean, this year they blew us away. Between Beast Wars, Mask, and Gem, and first of all, Mask, the first U.S. release ever, because all that, all it ever had before was like Region 4 releases or something like that, so that was awesome.
Well, I'll jump in here and say that if you want to talk about classic cartoon releases, especially from Shout Factory, I'm really looking forward to their Underdog set.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
a favorite old cartoon of mine. My son loves it too, and we just want to sit down and watch some Underdog together.
Yeah, we don't acknowledge that movie ever happened, though.
What movie?
The Underdog movie.
No, never heard of it. Nope.
Exactly. That is the correct answer.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. This is not the Underdog you're looking for. Move along.
That's right. There's no live-action CGI. I never heard of that, no.
Do either of you want to share any way for the fans of the site or of yourselves to interact with you, whether that be just the site itself or Twitter or Facebook?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Ways to interact with you guys, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or just going to the site and voting on the shows or anything like that.
Oh yeah, Dave and I are really good at answering emails. We get emails, multiple emails a day, and Twitter, Facebook. The one thing I don't like is when someone calls me on the phone, which happened to me one time.
My thing about people using Facebook or Twitter to try and get in touch with me is that that's such a media where information kind of scrolls down and scrolls off very quickly, and so if you try and contact us there's no way for me to be absolutely sure I'm going to see it. But if you go to the bottom of any page on our website, and at the bottom, next to the copyright info, there's a link called Contact Us. And it's also on every page on the left-hand screen. If you look down at if you see the logo of the site on the top left, and you look down toward the bottom of that list of menu options, there's a Contact Us there too. And they both lead to the same place, where there's a form, and you can send news info that goes to both of us, and I hope that's actual news if you use that.
Yeah.
Or you can say you want to talk to David, or you can say you want to talk to Gord, and then there's other stuff, and all of that other stuff goes to Gord, because he's the webmaster, and he basically runs the rest of the site. I just do the news. But if you send me an email...
Just the news.
Just do the news, right. 10 years, probably, I don't even know. I would say over 1 million news stories in 10 years, I would say. Because it's not just a news story. Like, when you post news, Dave, it's not just like, there might be a news item that, hey, Warner Brothers has announced this project. And then, like, 2 days later, 3 days later in the same week, here's the press release. Here's more cover art. Here's this. Here's that. So there are a lot. Don't undersell yourself, Dave. You do a lot of good work.
I appreciate it, and thank you.
It's 15,844 as of right now.
Wow, has it been that many? Well, wow. Of course, Gord, you do contribute the occasional news item once in a while, especially when I'm off, and I think very few people know and understand how much we cover for each other when one of us has to be away for a while. So we do pitch in for each other.
Yeah.
But the fact is that I do know how much work it is. Trust me. And as far as
long as you enjoy it, it shouldn't feel like work.
As far as it goes, there are stressful days here and there. Every job has their stressful days, but it's a dream job, and I have no complaints, and I do love doing it.
Yeah, I love the days when Dave goes, "Oh man, Paramount just announced 9 titles." So try and get it up as quickly as possible.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So if some days I'm in a hurry and I have a typo or something, please forgive me. Just nicely point it out, and I'll happily fix it or correct anything else. I don't pretend to not make mistakes. I make them all the time, but the fact is that I do love doing this, and I do like to hear from people, and email's really the best way. So if you use that contact us form and you find on the to column that you're sending it to David, then just shoot me a note and I will happily read it. And I may not respond to 100% everything, but it's more likely I will. And if I don't respond to your news post, it's probably because I'm going to post it and say thank you so and so for the news. So and that'll be your response, is that you helped me. So your name's up in lights.
Yeah, that's one thing that we have been doing since the start of this site. If someone sends us news, something we don't know, we're going to credit that person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's amazing to me. There's been a lot of DVD sites die over the years, but there'd be people that they get sent information and they just write it up and pretend like they found it on their own. I don't really like that. I think that if you help us out, we're gonna credit you. We're gonna say, hey, thanks to so and so for sending us that news. Why not?
I've had people who send me news tips over the years, and they get mad because I'll say, well, I already found that on my own, but thank you, or someone else already pointed that out to me. And they'll do this a few times, and they'll get so upset because they want to see their name credited. And I remember very distinctly one person, and I'm not going to name names, but this person, if they happen to hear this, they'll probably remember this. They sent me a note saying, you never mention my name, so I'm sure you won't mention my name for this one either. And I was like, well, finally I get to thank this person, because he really is the first person to tip me off to this extraordinary news. So I was so happy to finally put their name up in lights, as it were. And they sent me back this long letter of apology. Oh, you really do like me. Never did.
Awesome. I know you guys don't do a lot of the social networking stuff. I know, Gord, you're on Twitter every now and then. I don't see a lot of posts from you, and I know, Dave, you've gone on record as saying you don't really care for it. But
it's not that I don't care for it. I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way. No,
right.
There's just so much to do. I can't be everywhere at once.
Right.
And Gord tends to gravitate toward Twitter because that's more up his alley. And Mike,
it's more instantaneous. Yes.
Yeah. And I stick to Facebook, although I'm not going to say that I'm glad about all of Facebook's constant changes and privacy issues.
My transition was to go to the TV Shows on DVD fan page on Facebook. If you're a member of Facebook, or if you're around Facebook and you want to, besides actually going to TVShowsOnDVD.com, which is the first thing that people should be doing, for me, for someone who is constantly on Facebook and constantly looking at news feeds and everything else, there are times where, you guys will post, stuff on the Facebook page. I'm like, oh, cool, I didn't know that. And I'll click the link and I'll go to the site and I'll read the full story. And it's like, oh, very cool. So I think it does help. It does help with the promotion of the website. And that's very cool. But yeah.
The one thing that I like both Twitter and Facebook for is because, well, let's put it this way. The mission of the main site is to give you news about TV shows on DVD and the fact that they're there, that they exist. That Gord established the motto, is your favorite TV show on DVD?
Yeah.
That question has been the site's motto, for 10 years. And I think that's the perfect way to frame the mission of the main site. So if somebody wants to know, is Amazon having a sale? Well, our main site has a page, a great page that Gord coded that shows you all the TV shows that we cover, which are on sale. But if there's a one-day sale or a one-week sale or a lightning sale that Amazon's having, then I'm not going to post that as news. We used to try that, but some of our fans were like, no, you're advertising, and that's news. So we moved that advertising to Twitter and Facebook. Mm-hmm. So, our mission does not include sale prices, but if we can help with a tweet that tells you, hey, this is on sale, then that's something we're glad to do. And of course, it makes us a buck or two and helps support the site if you click on that link.
And it's not, but the fan page, when you post stuff on the fan page, Dave, it's not just those sell links. It's you also put the stories. You put mini bites, and then you put links to the actual stories on the website. So it's not just for promoting the Amazon sales.
Every time I post news, Gord has set it up so that every time I post news, a secret email goes out to Twitter or to Facebook that's going to post that link and the headline on our feed there. Yeah. So every time we have news, posted, it's there too. So that's what you normally see on those feeds. But then in addition to that, I can post an Amazon, gold box deal of the day, or I can post that this well-known TV actor or actress or director or animator or somebody has passed away, unfortunately. It gives us a place to talk about things that we can't really talk about on the site because it's not part of the mission, but we can pass on a bit other things here and there. Or if the site's down, that's a good place to let people know that, we know the site's down.
Which doesn't happen very often, thankfully.
No, it doesn't happen very often at all.
10 great years of news reporting. Here's to another 10. Thank you guys for taking the time to talk with me.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Steve Austin, astronaut. A man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Steve Austin will be that man. Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.